Hello and welcome everyone, I'm Madals and today I've got game number 1 of a best of 3 coming up. It is between a Zerg and a Protoss player and it is sure to be very entertaining. Spawning up in the top left hand position of Whirlwind as the purple Protoss, it's Patience. And his opponent down in the bottom right, the red Zerg, it's HyuN. So, is HyuN going to continue to be unstoppable? I do love that. I got so hyped. When HyuN won DreamHack in the summer, I was a very, very happy caster. Purely because I am a massive HyuN fanboy. It's that simple. Now, this game I'm not quite sure what the outcome is going to be. I don't know who takes this series, but being a best of 3, it's going to be some cool times. And I'm a bit of a glutton for punishment, actually, I've got to say. I am actually recording this on New Year's Eve. It is the final game I'm going to cast of 2013, which is pretty cool. And yeah, I'm going off to a party in about an hour or so I'm just smashing this out nice and quick. I've got a chest infection as well though, so if I do mute my mic at any point or you hear me like grumble or cough a little bit, I do apologise, but it is on its way out, but it's still there. So yeah, New Year's Eve with a chest infection, I'm still getting my daily cast down. Yeah, good times. Anyway, a bit about the game. We do have, of course, a gateway coming down here from Patience at the moment, going into a nice normal gateway expand. Meanwhile, HyuN looks like he's going for a hatch first opening. Is this going to be hatch pool? Whirlwind is one of the maps where it's viable because it's such a big map, but all you want to kind of watch out for is that you're not expanding towards your opponent, and that's why it's quite interesting to see HyuN sending this Overlord up the top. I guess he's setting up there because then he can expand here regardless whether it's cross or over in that position, whereas if he scouted over there he wouldn't know whether it was safe to go there or not. So actually that does make sense, it's just me being a little bit strange. So basically this game is going to have a couple of big stages, and the first real key one is where the Patience goes for some kind of timing push off of usually 2 bases. That's generally when you start to see some cool stuff potentially happening, or if he's going to try and go later. HyuN though, he's not afraid to go for some early game aggression or mid game aggression or any type of aggression at any period of time, and going for this hatch pool opening that we see him executing at the moment, even with the gas before the pull, means that he's going to have speed out quite quickly and a lot of production. So early pressure from Patience wouldn't actually work out too well for him as long as HyuN is on the ball. Being in the cross spawn positions as well buys HyuN more time should he need to get out some units and things like that. So all going good at the moment for both players. Patience should be going to expand relatively soon. He's bringing the probe down now, so everything going to plan on his side. Still sitting there with 4 probes in gas, not 6. That means that he can afford to get out the mothership core any second now. He's just waiting for the minerals for it. There we go. And then he should follow that up with a sentry most likely, just judging by the fact that he's got a lot of gas banked up, and he is going up into 6 probes in gas. May opt to get a stalker, but I'm really feeling, I don't know why I'm really feeling sentry, but I'm just thinking that that's what we're going to have on the card since his minerals are obviously a lot lower. There we go, sentry is on its way down now. HyuN about to get his 3rd hatchery out on the field, and yeah, spawning pool nearly finished up, racking up 100 gas, so he should be able to start speed, pulling drones out of gas exactly at 100, so a little bit over, but we'll let him off for that. Starts up speed, gets a couple of lings out, and of course has queen production already going strong. Should see a 3rd queen in production shortly, just once he's got enough minerals for it. But the critical thing is that he spends all of his lava just to keep that drone count nice and high. Over at Patience's side, we've got a Stargate in production, so this could be for Oracles, Phoenix or Voidway. All 3 are viable. After the Oracle buff, they are getting a bit more play, but mainly against Terran. Up against Zerg, Queens are still very effective at holding Oracles off, since 2 Queens beat an Oracle quite happily. So, as you heard there, my cough did just surface for a second, so apologies for that. Regardless though, continue on forth with the cast and things going pretty much standard, and that's really the story of this game for the moment. The Stargate about to finish up, and this is where we see the tech choice, and yeah, Phoenix coming down to the field, a single Overlord trying to get a little bit of vision. The sentries should be able to stop that Zergling before it gets up into the main, so doesn't know about the Stargate yet. Good little move there by Patience, just started stepping back that sentry. The 2 sentries now going to try and start working away at this Overlord. It should be able to get away quite comfortably, especially if the mothership core goes away, because then of course Patience loses vision once he gets up onto high ground. But yep, mothership core coming back a moment. Oh, that Overlord could have been killed, but it's not actually. Yep, there we go. Okay, so it is taken down. All good. Phoenix now coming out, haven't yet been revealed, but are about to be seen by this Overlord here. Of course, HyuN though, Fully aware that these Phoenix now down, starts up 2 Spore Coolers. He's getting himself into a good spot, but also going for some counter aggression. Photon Overcharge triggered, but there's a gap between those force fields and the ramp, which means that Lings managed to breach the main base of Patience, and this is where HyuN could have a bit of fun times. A hallucinated Phoenix comes straight past, but with the big chunks of damage being done, HyuN will be aware that that's actually a hallucination and not the real thing, which is all good for HyuN. HyuN also did a little bit of damage. They killed 1 worker, but got a full scout down on his opponent and still has these 3 Lings in there. The sentries can deal with them fairly quickly though. HyuN just trying to gain any bit of information that he can, seeing what's coming out, knows there's more Phoenix on their way, and that should trigger a lair, and yeah. Additional gases, Hydrogen, Roach Hydra will be coming out now. The Roach is quite interesting though, because they're not essential, since obviously the robotic facility only just getting started. You don't really need Roaches down. You could go Ling Hydra, but Roach Hydra is just a bit more tanky. So for the moment, the aggression coming from Patience. HyuN has scouted with some Lings, but never really tried to put on too much pain. Whereas HyuN, he's sitting back, getting down more Spore Coolers. He's going to be going up to a, well, really high total. He's going up to 6 Spores at 3 bases, so 2 at each, plus a Queen at each is a lot of anti-air. Clearly not wanting to take much damage from these Phoenix. The Spore Coolers, and of course, the Queen doing a good little job of trying to force them back. A few more workers have been killed, but only 5 workers for what is 5 Phoenix. That's not a huge amount of damage. With the additional spores there as well, that's going to help hold them off. The lair timing is completely known now to Patience. The evolution chamber coming down as well here for HyuN, whereas +1 already started for the Protoss player and the first immortal on its way out. HyuN not going for Hydralisks, instead jumping down with that infestation pit. Is he going to be going for some Swarm Host play? It can be very effective, so I'll be interested to see that. For the moment though, HyuN doing great work keeping proxy pylons off the map. Spores though, pushing back a couple more of these Phoenix, but already 8 workers killed, so 3 more get taken out. Another proxy identified by HyuN, and he's just keeping all the map control on the ground. So with this map control on the ground, obviously HyuN doing a good job of trying to keep things steady. Able to, well actually Patience able to hold that one with a couple of Zealots getting warped in. Chrono boosting out the +1 as well, so it looks like we're going to have an Immortal timing with some sentries there. Only the 1 Immortal though for the moment, and that's since there haven't been any Roaches seen. Not a massive need to get more out. But HyuN keeping these pylons forced back is a big win for him. He's also securing up a 4th base, the Hydra nearly done, and the Hive on its way. But no Hydras on the field yet, so has HyuN bitten off a bit too much than he can chew without getting those Hydras and rushing out the infestation pit and Hive? Maybe, but if he holds himself, he's going to be in a great spot. Patience for the moment has got a decent sized army though. The Roaches are amassing very quickly, and it's going to need a lot more in order to deal with this, especially if the Phoenix were to get some lips on a good chunk of this army. It can take out a good percentage of it. HyuN realizing that this is a dangerous situation, pulls his drones with some amazing force fields from Patience, zone out all of the Roaches, meaning those drones are just slaughtered effortlessly by the Protoss forces. HyuN being forced to retreat back. He does have his 4th base nearly done, so it's not the end of the world if he loses that 3rd, since he does have a spare, and obviously Patience doesn't have a 3rd base of his own. But this army's still moving forward. More Roaches coming out. The Hydra Den is finished, but HyuN opting to just get pure Roach for the time being. With 1 Immortal there, it can still work, but there's the Phoenix, there's a lot of Stalkers, and the +1 done. +1 missile attack about to kick in for HyuN though, still 15 seconds away, but will it get there in time? So, Patience really putting on the pressure. HyuN trying to buy a bit more time to get more units out. His army supply is now up by 10, but that's not all too much. Another Time Warp and some good force fields allow chunks of Roaches to get picked apart. Finally, the Phoenix starting to dwindle in number, and with some Roaches coming from behind, HyuN attempting to get the full surround. Does have Burrow Tech, but not utilizing it for the moment, which maybe he should do, but considering there's an observer there, it wouldn't be too effective to use. HyuN still trying to hold this off, pulling more and more drones, but these force fields from Patient are absolutely pristine. They play so well. He's able to hold this Roach force momentarily, but HyuN with just so many Roaches still pushing back, still trying to hold. A couple of Hydralisks adding into the composition, and for the moment Patience doesn't know about this base to the left, so if HyuN is able to hold, he's in a good spot because Patience putting everything into this push, thinking that he's got HyuN onto 2 bases. Those Phoenix getting picked apart now, the Hydra numbers very low, adding a little bit of extra DPS, but HyuN looking to be overwhelmed now. He's down to only 35 army supply and 29 drones. I fear this may be the end of HyuN, and I think he's going to have no choice but to GG out here as Patience just powers through and takes apart this army. with just some phenomenal force fields. And there we go, GG is called, and game 1 will go to Patience. So, if you enjoyed that game, make sure you like the video, leave a cool comment, and of course subscribe, and then flick over to game number 2. I'll see you there in a sec.